Shalom to Gideon Israel, co-president of the Jerusalem-Washington Institute.
Shalom Yoni.
So as an institute who works on the U.S.-Israel relations, how do you see the significance of last night's results?
Well, we think that the elections bring a lot of potential to the work that we're doing. First of all, I think Donald Trump actually presents a new type of I guess you could say presidential relationship with Israel. He's not bound by the traditional land for peace. He's not bound by the traditional way of looking at the Middle East. He looks at the Middle East and he looks to solve problems. He also sees the Middle East and Israel. He really sees Israel as a special country in the Middle East, not because he said that, because he has a keen sense of who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, and therefore he really sees potential for the relationship with Israel and for more cooperation, and for Israel really to take a leading role in actually dealing with the problems in the Middle East and not viewing Israel through the prism of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and not even seeing that as central or even close to central to the problems going on in the Middle East.
And when you're talking about cooperation, it's much more than just the financial deals or the security and defense issues.
Yeah, I mean, when I say that there's potential for more joint cooperation. Obviously, there's a lot that goes on already. There's plenty of stuff that goes on with the military, security, intelligence, and industry. There's so many things, but there's so much potential to be tapped into, and there's so much more that could be done. And now there's a Republican Congress, meaning Republicans are controlling the House and the Senate. And while the work we do is bipartisan, many of the pro-Israel initiatives or cooperation sometimes comes from the Republicans. So there's really a lot of opportunities there, and also here you're going to have a White House that is really open to really upgrading the U.S.-Israel relationship as much as possible, because Donald Trump, as president, he ran for president really to deal with America, and he's not looking to go for adventures overseas. He's not looking to make the world a better place or make world peace. He's looking to make America stronger. And if he can increase the cooperation that there is with Israel, and Israel can take more of a leading role as a regional power, he will be more than happy to provide that backing. And I think that type of outlook really has to make us think, how do we take advantage of the next 4 years and the next 8 years to really upgrade all the things and make the U.S.-Israel relationship as strong as possible.
Regarding your activity, I understand that one of your main goals, one of your main missions is to teach the Israeli parliamentarians about all the options when it comes to U.S.-Israel relations.
Yeah, one of the problems is that in Israel, you have the executive branch and you have the legislative branch, but the executive branch is much stronger in Israel than the legislative branch. Legislative branch, the Knesset, is almost secondary, and that's really not the way it works in America. In America, the executive branch and the legislative branch are co-equal. Sometimes the legislative branch doesn't assert its power, so it looks like as if it's secondary to the president or the executive branch, but it's a co-equal. But here in Israel, Knesset members and ministers, they don't always see that. They think that working with the legislative branch, that there's nothing to be done with them, and therefore they should go to the cabinet, the secretary of science or the secretary of this. But many joint cooperation between Israel and America, and even America with other countries, starts in the Congress and starts through initiatives with the Congress. So what we try to do is we try to identify some areas where there could be cooperation, whether it could be in science and space and satellite. It could be in defense. It could be, in anything, and we try to see, okay, where are the relevant parties in the Knesset, or which minister, where are the relevant parties in Congress in terms of what committees do they sit on, and we try to bring them together to work on the project, because ultimately we want to create those personal relationships, and in the future we want Knesset members and ministers to make contact with congressmen on their own about ideas that they might have. Just for example, there was a anti-BDS bill that we were working on in Congress. It was HR 1572, which said that if you're a federal contractor, in order to, when you have that contract, you have to declare that you do not support discrimination against any of America's allies. And if you do discriminate in your business actions, then you're subject to, you're being barred 2 years for any federal contract. So we had a Knesset member write a letter to the congressman that initiated that bill, and the congressman was so happy to get that letter and to hear that someone was interested and that someone was looking to, cooperate with him or collaborate with him on anything that could be done, to combat the BDS movement. So that's just one of many things that we're doing, and there's really so much that can be done.
Gideon Israel, co-president of the Jerusalem Washington Center, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.